Coffee Break Chinese, Season 1, Episode 38. 大家好，欢迎来到 Coffee Break Chinese， 我是马克。
大家好，我是 Crystal， 很高兴和大家一起学习中文。
We are delighted to be back with another episode of Coffee Break Chinese. Having been to the Great Wall last time, this time it's a slightly different, perhaps more delicate subject because, well, I wasn't feeling very well when I was in China, so we had to visit a pharmacy, but that is coming up in this lesson. We hope that you're enjoying this series of lessons which we recorded in China, bringing you conversations with native speakers and with a variety of accents and a variety of speaking speeds and so on. It's great to get practice like this and listen to these authentic conversations and put into practice what we've been learning in previous lessons. Obviously, the topic of visiting a pharmacy is something that we covered in our previous lessons of Coffee Break Chinese, so it's now time to hear some of that language in context. 开始吧。
开始吧。
So as usual, we'll begin by listening to the whole conversation, starting with Hongyu and me talking about how I'm feeling.
Hi, 马克，你好吗？
你好，Hongyu，我不舒服，我头疼，肚子疼。
我们去药店买药。
So we head to the chemist's.
您好，我的朋友生病了，他很不舒服。
你哪儿不舒服？
我的头很疼，肚子也很疼。
我明白了，你拉肚子吗？
拉肚子是什么意思？
拉肚子是 diarrhea。
是的。
多长时间了
？2天了。
这2天你去哪儿了？吃什么了？
我吃了长城，我吃了火锅。
火锅辣不辣？你喝什么了？
很辣，我喝了冰水。
我给你开药，这个药治拉肚子，一次吃3片，1天2次。你这几天不可以吃太辣的东西，也不可以喝酒。
谢谢您。
一共30元。
给您，谢谢。
不用谢。
走吧，今天晚上你在酒店休息。You should have a rest at the hotel tonight. 我们不去吃烤鸭。
Okay, let us go back through our conversation now because there's quite a bit in here. Now, since we've previously covered lots of the vocabulary, I guess when I was in China, maybe I was forgetting some of that, maybe because I wasn't feeling so well. But there was one particular word that I had forgotten, and that was la duzi, which is not the most pleasant of words, but nonetheless, it was an important word to explain to the pharmacy. Anyway, let's go back through the vocabulary now, and we'll have a listen to the conversation and split it up like we've been doing in the past few lessons.
Hi, 马克，你好吗？
你好，红油，我不舒服，我头疼，肚子疼。
我们去药店买药。
So when Hongyu greets me, he asks how I'm feeling, and what's the phrase I say to say that I'm not feeling well?
He said, 我不舒服。
So 我不舒服. 舒服 is like...
Comfortable, well.
Okay, so I'm not feeling comfortable, I'm not feeling well. And I actually specify what's wrong. What did I say?
我头疼.
So I've got a sore head.
疼.
And then a sore stomach. So two things that are sore, that are hurting me. 我头疼，肚子疼. And there are other ways of saying that. How can we say...
痛.
Tong. Okay, so it's either tung or tong.
Yeah.
And tung is second tone.
Tong is fourth tone.
Tong is fourth tone. Okay, good. I remember something. So I've got a sore head, a sore stomach, and Hongyu suggests then?
我们去药店买药.
So we go to the pharmacy to buy medicine.
That's right.
Okay, so we head to the pharmacy and let us have a listen to the first part of this conversation in the pharmacy.
您好，我的朋友生病了，他很不舒服。
你哪儿不舒服？
我的头很疼，肚子也很疼。 Okay, let's just stop it there. Crystal, can you explain a little more about what Hong Yu said there? He said something about my friend.
Yeah, 我的朋友
So my friend, 我的朋友
生病了
So what's that?
生病了 meaning sick.
Sick. Okay, so is that suggesting actual physically being sick?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then he clarified, he gave some more information.
他很不舒服
So he's really not feeling comfortable. Okay. 他很不舒服. Now, the pharmacist asked me where I'm not feeling comfortable.
Yeah. 你哪儿不舒服
So you, where, not comfortable. And I explained that I have a very sore head and a very sore stomach.
我的头很疼肚子也很疼
Okay, the pharmacist then says, I understand. And then she asks if I have something else.
我明白了，你拉肚子吗？
拉肚子是什么意思？
拉肚子是 diarrhea.
是的。So obviously in my lack of feeling comfortable, I'm forgetting my Chinese vocabulary too. Of course, 拉肚子 is diarrhea. I ask, what does it mean? 拉肚子是什么意思? And Hong Yu explains, and I agree. Yes, unfortunately, I do. Probably too much information for our listeners here to know about my medical problems while I'm in China, but it's good vocabulary practice, of course.
It's practical.
Practical, yes. And I've got no shame, basically. Okay, so the pharmacist then asks something else. Let's have a listen to her question.
多长时间了？
2天了. Now, even if you didn't understand the question, you may well be helped by the answer. So this question here, Crystal, was what?
多长时间了
So is that like saying how long have you been feeling like this?
Yes.
For how many days? Or how much
For
time?
how long? Yeah, how much time?
Are you feeling like this? And I said 2天了. So for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then another question comes.
这2天你去哪儿了？吃什么了？
Okay, so what's she asking here?
这2天你去哪儿了 This couple of days, you went where?
Yep.
吃什么了 Eat what?
Eat what? Right. So in these past 2 days, where have you been and what have you eaten? And so I explain that I have been to the Changcheng, the Great Wall, and 我吃了 I ate 火锅 hot pot.
Yep.
这2天你去哪儿了？吃什么了？
我吃了长城，我吃了火锅. Now, Crystal, I think my pronunciation there wasn't great, but I guess from the context, the lady understood what I was saying. I said I went to the Great Wall, which was?
我去了长城
去了. Okay. And then I ate hot pot.
我吃了火锅
So I find that really difficult to tell the difference between these two sounds. Now, in Pinyin, they're written as the letter Q and the letter CH.
Yeah.
So let's just go back to I know we've talked about this before, but it's helping me. So hopefully it's helping some of our listeners. Let's go back to the word for go. I went. So let's hear that again.
去
Chu. So when you say that, your lips are coming forward and your mouth is quite closed. So
I
chu.
think it's helpful at this moment to review the difference between Q sound and CH sound.
Okay.
The Q pinyin is qi.
Chi. Okay.
Yeah, and the CH is chi.
Right. So at that point, just to explain, your mouth, I can see your teeth basically because your lips are open wide. Ch, and as opposed to chu when your lips are pushed forward.
Yeah.
So 我去了长城，我吃了火锅.
Spot on.
Is that okay?
Perfect.
Good. Okay. So I went to the Great Wall and I ate hot pot. Now, the pharmacist is almost ready to give me her opinion, but she has 2 more questions. Let's have a listen to those 2 questions.
火锅辣不辣？你喝什么了？
很辣，我喝了冰水. Okay, so the first of those questions is one of those the bu questions. It's adjective, bu, adjective. And the adjective in particular that we're using here is la, which is spicy. So la bu la. was the hot pot spicy?
Or not spicy.
Or not spicy, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also asks me not about ch, but about he. He, wrong tone there, Mark. Yeah, okay. He, which is first tone, which is about drinking.
Yep.
And, my answers, she's probably thinking, oh my goodness me, this silly foreigner here. Of course he's going to end up with an upset stomach. Because first of all, I say,很辣. It was really quite spicy. And then what did I have to drink?
冰水.
So that was iced water. So
Yes.
at least I was sensible in the sense that I was drinking some iced water along with the hot pot to cool it down a little. I suppose I could have been drinking something like Bing Pijo or something like that.
冰啤酒, ice beer.
Ice beer, yeah, that probably would have been even worse. But not to worry, I was drinking iced water along with the very spicy hot pot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the pharmacist is going to give me her opinion and tell me what I'm going to do, but we're going to listen to that section after our break. We'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that you can get more out of your Coffee Break Chinese experience by signing up for our full course on the Coffee Break Academy. In addition to the audio lessons, you'll get access to bonus listening materials, lesson notes, and video versions of each lesson, showing the Mandarin words and phrases written out in Pinyin and Chinese characters. You can find out more at coffeebreakchinese.com. We were just speaking during the break about this whole idea of the bing shui, the iced water, potentially affecting my sore stomach too, within a Chinese context at least. Is that right, Crystal?
That's right. For Chinese people, we do not encourage people to drink anything too hot or too cold. We want you to drink something appropriate to your body temperature.
Okay.
For example, if you drink something really cold, that upsets your stomach because it's too cold.
Too
your
cold,
stomach.
yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I'm guessing that the pharmacist is thinking, well, maybe the ice water has had an effect also, along with the very spicy hot pot and the heat as well when we were walking in the Changchun.
Yeah, you remember yin and yang in Chinese culture. So in this case, bing is yin and shui is also yin. And spicy is hot and hot pot is hot. So it's like you mix the hot and cold together. It's a fight.
Okay. Well, let us see what the pharmacist is going to suggest to me. The next part of this conversation is quite complex, so we'll split it up after we hear it. Have a listen.
我给你开药，这个药治拉肚子，一次吃3片，一天2次。你这几天不可以吃太辣的东西，也不可以喝酒。
谢谢您. Okay, Crystal, I think we need to go through this in detail. Can you separate this out? First of all, she says,
我给你开药.
So I'm going to give you
Prescription.
Okay, 开药.
Yeah. 这个药治拉肚子.
So this medicine is
Cure.
The cure is the diarrhea. Okay.
一次吃3片.
Something about eating 3 somethings.
片 is a measure word for the tablets. So 一次, each time 3 pieces of the tablets. Yeah.
And is the ch, the eat
yes,
is
to
taking.
take.
So take 3 tablets each time.
一天2次.
Now, is that... Oh, I'm struggling here. I've forgotten all of this. When you're taking medicines, liang is 2.
2.
So twice a day.
Yeah, that's right.
So 一天2次. So 2 times a day.
Yes.
Okay, and the next part?
你这几天不可以吃太辣的东西.
Right, there's a la in there. So it must be something to do with spicy. So you can't eat spicy food.
这几天 these days, these couple of days, these few days. 也不可以喝酒.
So also not can drink alcohol. So over the next couple of days, you can't eat spicy food and you can't drink any alcohol.
That's right.
Can you give us the whole thing again?
我给你开药，这个药治拉肚子，一次吃3片，一天2次。你这几天不可以吃太辣的东西，也不可以喝酒。
Okay, and I say thank you. After all of that, I'm probably quite glad that Hongyu is there to help me and give more detail when we leave the pharmacy, because the next bit is that I've got to pay for these, and the attendant actually, or the pharmacist, tells me how much it costs.
一共30元。
给您，谢谢。
不用谢。
So the total was 30 yuan, 30 RMB.
Yep.
It's quite cheap. And I thank her, I give the money over, I thank her, and she thanks me, or she says there's no need to thank. And then Hongyu suggests something.
走吧，今天晚上你在酒店休息。You should have a rest at the hotel tonight. 我们不去吃烤鸭。
Okay, Hongyu's statement there, 走吧, what's that?
Let's go.
Let's go, okay. Then 今天晚上, this evening,
Yep.
你在酒店休息.
Yeah.
So this evening, you at the hotel and then rest.
Yes.
So what's the word for rest again?
休息.
休息. Okay, so that's a neutral tone at the end there.
Yes, that's right. First and a neutral.
休息. Okay, you're going to have a rest at the hotel tonight, and we are not going to eat roast duck.
That's unfortunate.
I know, I was looking forward to that. I did eat roast duck at another time, though, so it was all good. So 我们不去吃烤鸭. So there we've got 去吃, both of our words in the
Well
same
done.
sentence. Right, let's have a listen to the whole conversation one more time before we finish.
嗨，马克，你好吗？
你好，红油，我不舒服，我头疼，肚子疼。
我们去药店买药。您好，我的朋友生病了，他很不舒服。
你哪儿不舒服？
我的头很疼，肚子也很疼。
我明白了，你拉肚子吗？
拉肚子是什么意思？
拉肚子是 diarrhea。
是的，
多长时间了
2天了。
这2天你去哪儿了？吃什么了？
我吃了长城，我吃了火锅。
火锅辣不辣？你喝什么了？
很辣，我喝了冰水。
我给你开药，这个药治拉肚子，一次吃3片，一天2次。你这几天不可以吃太辣的东西，也不可以喝酒。
谢谢您。
一共30元。
给您，谢谢。
不用谢。
走吧，今天晚上你在酒店休息。You should have a rest at the hotel tonight. 我们不去吃烤鸭。
So no roast duck for us that night, but there was some roast duck another time, as I said. That's it for this episode of Coffee Break Chinese. Of course, if you'd like access to the notes for this lesson, which provide the whole transcript of our conversation in both Pinyin and in Chinese characters, and also some further explanations of the vocabulary contained in the lesson, then you can head over to coffeebreakchinese.com, and there you'll find out more about the bonus version of this episode and indeed the whole course, featuring video versions of the lessons, the lesson notes and transcripts, and of course our bonus audio too. So for all that, head to coffeebreakchinese.com.
Don't forget that you can follow Coffee Break Chinese on social media. Just search for Coffee Break Chinese on Facebook. We are at Learn Chinese on Twitter, and you can also keep up with the Coffee Break team on Instagram. Just search for Coffee Break Languages. Post a comment and let us know how you're getting on learning Chinese with us.
Sometimes we ask you to post your photos of your experiences in Chinese-speaking areas, but perhaps if we're talking about pharmacies and not feeling too well, then it's not the right kind of thing to post on Facebook or wherever. But we hope you don't have to use the vocabulary contained in this episode when you travel to a Chinese-speaking area. That's it for this episode. Thank you very much indeed for listening. We will be back next time with our penultimate episode in the series. But for now, 谢谢，再见。
谢谢，再见。
You have been listening to a production of the Copy Break Academy for the Radiolingua Network. Copyright 2017 Radiolingua Limited. Recording copyright 2017 Radiolingua Limited. All rights reserved.